All right. We are live. Look at this. What's up, everybody? Spencer Israel, Stock Market TV, making sure we're all live on the old YouTube and wherever else we're supposed to be live. Are we live here? Looks like we are. All right. Well, it's 4 o'clock Eastern time. Markets are closed. Pencils down. SpaceX about to report their first earnings as a public company. Figured I would go live and talk about it. Just kind of hang out. Um, I was having conversation with somebody on the team last week, and he asked me. He said, Spencer, do you have uh friends who you talk to about like the markets and stuff? And I said, no. That's kind of what this is, right? It's kind of what we're all like. That's kind of why we're all here. I assume. My friends are my coworkers and all of you when it comes to this stuff, right? Because I don't have anyone else to talk about it with. So I just like being here. I think earnings is kind of a show, an entertaining show, and this is probably the most interesting earnings report. I know that's such a cliche to say. God, I hate saying that. It is so cliched. But in this case, I think it's actually true because SpaceX as a stock is as a company is wildly interesting. As a stock is even more interesting. And now here we get their first report as a public company, a mere what 7 weeks after largest IPO ever. So that's kind of why I wanted to do this. I know the conference call is at 4:30. I would expect the why don't we pull let's pull up a live chart. Let's just take a look. Do I have the SpaceX chart? There we go. Yeah, I just wanted to be here for the show, right? Exactly. Morning show part 2. Although this one may be just me. We'll see. All right. So obviously you guys know the deal, right? SpaceX has, if we zoom out, has given back. I've got the price here up top and the market cap on the bottom. SpaceX has given back the entire equivalent value of the entire cryptocurrency market. That's how much this stock is down in market cap from the peak to yesterday, right? So the all-time peak market cap was like what 2.7, and yesterday we got, or the day before, whatever, we got to like 1.4. So that's a drop of 1.3 trillion dollars. Oh no, sorry. Let's rephrase that. SpaceX has um, gained or lost the equivalent of the total crypto market cap. We started off at 1.7, right? We got, or we started off 1.7. That was the IPO. We got to what, 2.7? Now we're down to 1.6. So this market cap has fluctuated the entire value of the crypto market cap in the whole world. It's given back an entire Tesla in terms of market cap here in the last couple of weeks. So this is a wild child. Hello, Karen. How are we doing? That's right. The afternoon show, Kevin. That's exactly right. Oh shit. Oh, sorry. Language, people. Earnings are out. Earnings are out. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so the estimate, again, we don't care that much about the estimates per se, but this is the first time we're going to get this information, so it's important. The estimate was that they would lose 24 cents per share. In actuality, they only lost 9 cents per share. That's a beat. The sales came in at $7.81 billion versus $6.93 billion estimate. So a beat on the top line revenue and a beat on the bottom line earnings per share. Let's pull up a one. Let's get Randy with a 1 minute chart here. Let's get rid of the market cap. So, oops. 1 minute charts here on the afternoon show. All right. Obviously, part of what makes this interesting is that today's news is probably the second most important thing that's going to happen to SpaceX this week. The first most important thing is the first lockup expiration, which is going to happen on Thursday. You are probably aware of the fact that SpaceX has like a 35% short interest, which is remarkable, and an all-time high. Now, I have some theories about this short interest. I want to see. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Um, if I worked at SpaceX and I had my shares locked up and I couldn't sell them, but I was scared about near-term volatility, rightly so, wouldn't it make sense for me to short the stock in some way, to either buy puts, short it outright? It is pretty expensive to short, but I think the stat I saw was like 95% of the of the eligible float is sold short right now. Um, yeah, I feel like I would if I worked there. So it is possible that this high short interest are simply, or at least some portion of it, maybe not the whole thing, but some portion of it are simply longs, employees, insider whoever hedging their own exposure. That is what I would do if I had millions of dollars at stake and I was really freaked out about the short term. That's what I would do. Um, SpaceX has an extremely unique lockup expiration schedule. So we're going to get up to 20% of the free float released on Thursday. And then from there on out, you can see we get 10% more based on whether the stock is trading at 30% above the offering price. And then there's a bunch of 7% lockup releases over the next few months. This is unusual. Typically, it's 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, right? Insiders are locked up from hedging. Really? Is that true? How are they? How would they stop you? How would they stop you from buying puts? How would they do that? I've never been in the situation, so I don't know. But I'm just assuming that. All right, maybe they do have a policy. There are also ways around that. And come on, let's say they do have a policy. Who at the SEC is watching? All right, come on, let's be real about this for a second. All right, this is another way of showing that same information as far as the lockup goes. So only 4% of the total shares outstanding actually became eligible for trade at the IPO date, and obviously, we're going to get a lot more in the coming months. And then the big one is, of course, Elon's lockup 1 year after the IPO, which is next June. So, very curious to see how this thing trades. Not just tomorrow or overnight, but Thursday, right? And as we go back to the 1 minute chart here, oops, I lost my screen. As we go back to the 1 minute chart here, look, the very first thing I learned as far as earnings reactions goes was use the after hours high and the after hours low to set your expectations, right? We've got our after hours high here, 130, and our low of what's that, 121. All right, that's the range. Now we want to see if we can break above it. Obviously bullish. Break below it. Obviously bearish. Yeah, all right. I mean, sure. Uh, sure. Yeah, maybe I'm sure there are some rules in place, but we live in the lawless regulationless society. So, um, all right. Anyway, back to so we haven't even looked at the earnings at all. Just as a reminder, SpaceX today, or the SpaceX of the past, is not the SpaceX of the future. The SpaceX of today and of the past gets all its money from Starlink, right? That's the connectivity division. That's the internet, all that jazz. That is not what the company has said will be the case in the future. That is not what the market is pricing in. All right. What the market is pricing in is this is in the next 10 years or so, they're going to get most of their revenue, over 80%, says Morgan Stanley, from AI, right? So if you are one of these people that is like, this valuation makes no sense, this market cap makes no sense for the earnings and all the price to earnings and the price to sales and yada yada yada, doesn't matter. That is not and has never has been what this company is valued on. I think you guys all probably know that are watching. But if you are one of those people, just know that the numbers for today don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. All right. That being said, let's go back to the chart. I am trying to look at the release here. So let's see what we got. Oh, by the way, super weird of SpaceX to drop a press release at 3:30 Eastern time about a partnership with Nvidia. Kind of weird to drop news a half hour before an earnings report. Um, yeah. Anyway, so okay, what else did they say? They have $47.5 billion backlog in orders. That's cool, I suppose. What else do we have here? Just trying to, you know what? Why don't I just pull up the actual earnings report itself rather than go looking at Twitter, anything like that. Let's see what we can find on the press release. All right. What do we got here? That's weird. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Some highlights from the quarter. This is straight from the PR. 92% year over year revenue growth. All right. Yeah, we know about the successful Starship flights. Closed $14 billion in cloud sales. Yeah, we know about the M&A deal they announced. Yada yada yada. 66% revenue growth, 79% income growth. Those are both year over year. I'm kind of scanning through the CFO commentary real fast. I mean, look, this is from the press release, so it's all going to be pretty rosy and flowery. Okay, here we go. Let's get to the actual financial highlights. Kenny click. Kenny just crushed it. What are you saying? Yeah. Tiny Toons Fiesta. I am in the exact same camp as you. I did trade this right out in the first couple days. Very briefly. I know Kenny's been all over the stock. But look, the historical pattern, if you don't know it, you need to know it, which is that there is a near certainty if you want to buy an IPO, overwhelming odds. If you just wait like a few months or a few quarters or even a year, you'll get at a better price. Um, Now, life happens fast. A lot's happened in 2 days, clearly. But yeah, I too would not buy this stock until it gets above. Well, so you have 2 prices that are relevant. You have the IPO price and you have the opening price, right? So the IPO price is 135 and the opening price is 150. The IPO price is more relevant, 135. I wouldn't buy it until we got there. I mean, that could happen tonight, frankly, right? Or tomorrow morning. Okay, so back to the sorry, I'm distracted. Back to the financial statement. Connectivity 4.3 billion, AI 2.5 billion. That's the revenue for the period. Look at the capex. Wow, $18 billion. Hmm. What else we got here? Space revenues up 55% quarter over quarter, 29% year over year. Let's go back to the 15-minute chart. Yeah, look, I care more about the reaction than anything else. The numbers are interesting, especially because it's the first one of this company's history. But this is really what I care about is the reaction. So another conference call starts in what 13 minutes, or it's supposed to. I might want to. I'll either turn that on during the stream, or I'll just get off and go listen to it. But they don't like it. By the way, SpaceX has like one of the funniest revenue projections like out there. You can just see the revenue and earnings projection going out for like as if anyone has any idea about like 2030 or 2035 or 2040. This is like bonkers stuff, right? But hey, I appreciate the hard work, Morgan Stanley, to give us these estimates. $126 billion in net revenue by 2040. Okay. SpaceX is at annual revenue right now of what? Like, well, they just said 7.8 billion for one quarter. So that's going up to 126 in 15 years. Cool. All right, back to the chart. Back to the chart because that's what matters. The reaction is what matters, not the numbers. Oh man. All right. Well, same logic applies, right? I use the pre-market high or after hours high, after hours low as my light posts, my signposts. Sheesh. Let's zoom out a little bit. Getting crushed all the way back to where we were this morning. So, not really crushed, I would say. You want to pitch me a service where we YOLO on low risk, high reward options? Why would we YOLO on low risk options? I want to YOLO on high risk options. It's not the entire point. That sounds too what you're describing sounds too responsible. I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that at all. Okay. Back to the financial statement. I'm just kind of browsing it here. So many numbers. Look, man, the financial statements are interesting and they can be fun to look at, and they can tell you a story. But the algos have already read it and digested it instantaneously, and there is no analysis that I could have of these numbers that would be superior to the total analysis of the market, right? So that's sort of my take on financial statements. Fun to look at, not totally actionable. Um, so yeah, we also have to remember that Thursday is the actual day that matters. Today is just the appetizer. Thursday is the main course, right? So we get 20% of the total outstanding shares of this company eligible, not that will be sold, eligible to be sold. Who's actually going to sell? Don't know. Guess we're going to find out. Is the price action of the last 6 weeks, is that just the market preempting what they see is a massive wave of selling on that first lockup expiration? Again, don't know, right? We don't know much. Let's just like take a quick look at where things stand. So we've got SpaceX, obviously, but SpaceX is not moving a vacuum. Look at the queues. I mean, SpaceX is probably going to drag the queues down. Frankly, this move is a SpaceX driven move after hours. Who else did we have reporting tonight? We had forgot we had AMD. We had AMD. We got Arista, which I am long. All right, so we got a few. We got some other stuff happening. Let's just pull up the AMD. I know this is a SpaceX stream. Whew. All right. How's the ANET? Oh boy. Okay. Well, that's working out so far. But talk to me again in the morning. Hey, what breaker? There are no circuit breakers after hours. What are you talking about? I gotta say, like on the SpaceX IPO day, I was somewhat nonplussed with the. I thought it'd be crazier. Put it that way. It was pretty orderly, like the action on day one, and even day two and day three during that rally. It all was pretty orderly. I don't recall seeing any halts. Maybe there was one halt, but it was a lot less chaotic than I would have thought. And that's kind of what I'm here for. I'm here for the chaos as someone who's not neither long nor short. Um, so so far this is also a pretty, I would say, orderly after hours post earnings reaction, right? Not, I mean, if you think about this move in terms of market cap, it is freaking massive, but not the biggest move I've ever seen. Anyway, it is 4:24 here on the East Coast. Conference call starts in 5 minutes. I think I'll probably just get off and end the stream for that call. And then we can go all listen to it and talk about it tomorrow in the morning show. That'll be fun. Hey, speaking of tomorrow, I do want to mention that uh, tomorrow and Thursday, after the morning show ends, I am going to go live. I've been doing this each of the last 2 weeks. I'm going live on our site, not on YouTube, not on Twitter, just on our site, just for my members to do some live trading. And so if you haven't been there and you want to be there, I will drop the link in the chat right now. Put the link up on the screen. Put the link up in the chat. There it is. There it is. Come hang out with me tomorrow after the morning show. Do some live trading. Maybe trade a little SpaceX. Maybe trade a little AMD. What's moving after hours here? Well, on the upside, the UPST is up 15%, and on the downside, they're killing Match Group. What else are they killing here? They're killing Teradata, TDC. Yeah, they're really killing Match Group, down 11%. They're buying the Qualys. They're buying the Arista. They're buying the Kodak, the Upstart. So we got some action. Oh, they're killing Pinterest, down 7%. And AMD, like I said, SpaceX only down 5%. Interesting. No, Tiny Toons, that will not be, that'll just be for my members for the post morning show streams tomorrow and Thursday. And then that'll be the last time I do it for this earnings season. So we're bouncing back here. All right. Does buy the dip work again? Hey, you know what I should have done? Let's bring up Kenny Glick's VWAP that I've got here on my TradingView platform. All right. Well, we just crossed over the VWAP for today. So that's usually a bullish signal. We are rapidly approaching the VWAP from yesterday. Also, typically a bullish signal when you cross above that. I don't know. If Kenny were here, I would say, Kenny, is this a little fake out, shake out, breakout? Maybe, but it is too soon to tell. I don't think Kenny trades after hours. I know he trades a little bit pre-market, but I mean, if I was like throwing orders out there right now, your line on the sand, you know, your two lines on the sand on the downside are the 118.12 and then the double low there at 114.38, right? You're definitely getting out. If you're buying it, you're definitely getting out of those prices. And if you wanted to actually buy it, I would throw orders out there, right? Or throw an order out above 121.70, right? That's again, I'm not throwing trades out right now, but that's what I would do. It's going to sit at 118. Yeah, maybe. This is a 15-minute chart. Look at that. VWAP comes into play so often. Today was a pretty classic Kenny Glick fake out, shake out, breakout above the VWAP. Pretty classic. Anyway. All right. It is 4:29. I know this conference call is about to start. I do want to give it a listen. I don't know, like I'm sure they don't really care if we like stream it live, but I don't really feel like going through the technological hassle of doing that. So I know people do it all the time, but I'm not going to do it. I'll go listen on my own, and kind of curious because the Tesla conference calls were always like, there was a time where they were like must listen events, and then like maybe somebody like yelled at Elon, and he's been like way more chill the past few years. But I do wonder how he'll be on this one. By the way, over under. Let's do a quick poll. Over under 50% chance that SpaceX eventually buys Tesla. Actually, I don't even have to make up my own odds. Let's look up the odds on Polymarket. All right. Well, the current market is for 18% chance that Tesla and SpaceX merge before the end of the year. So that's my question to you. Does SpaceX and Tesla merge by the end of the year? On Polymarket, 18% chance yes, 82% chance no. I would say by the end of the year, definitely not. By the end of next year, maybe. Call it 50-50. Don't know. All right. That's pretty much where I'm going to stop. This is fun. I like just kind of hanging out. I mean, like, if I wasn't live right now, just so you guys know, if I wasn't live, this is what I'd be doing. I would just be sitting here looking at the chart, looking at the headlines, looking at the reaction, reading people's interpretations. That's all I'd be doing. Kind of like what I'm doing right now, right? The exact same thing. Just going through a few tweets. You know what I should have done? Damn. I'll do it next time. I will add some music. We can have some music, some vibes. Yeah. Next time I'll add some vibes. All right. This has been fun. Thanks for watching. If you want to be there tomorrow morning, use the link listed in the chat. And otherwise, I'll see you in the morning show. Great. Jam-packed show tomorrow. Jason Purse will be on the show. Mary Thwaites will be on the show. Dr. Phil Perlman will be on the show. A lot to discuss. We'll be talking energy, and a little more energy. And, of course, SpaceX, because how can we not? All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm out.